So once you properly install a pillow bag flat packed in the bottom of the container, you're going to take your hose or your connection and hook up to the fitment in the bottom of the container, and the bag will rise with your product. This is a typical 2-inch dispense fitting, and CDF also offers a 2-inch shrink wrap tamper evident seal. A bottom fill does not mean hooking up to the dispense fitting and pushing a product through there. During the fill process, you want to make sure what we call the ears of the bag or the corners of the bag are coming up with the bag in the corners of the container, and you're not getting your product caught in folds of the bag, which could lead to a misfill. During the fill process, you're going to have to tend to the corners and pull up on the corners during the process, which is much different from a form-fit bag fill where you can pretty much hook up and walk away. When this is full, you'll see a gap in the corners here. On a form-fit bag, it squares out the top of the container. And these are the types of folds that we're talking about when you're dispensing the bag. You're concerned about the lading getting caught in the folds of the bag, which leaves residual. When you are pulling the ears up, try to pull it by the corners of the bag, and don't put your hand and fingernails into the body of the bag, which can lead to punctures and possible flex cracks. You want to make sure that this is staying towards the center. As you can see, this is starting to tend towards the front of the container, which may cause a filling issue over here and can prevent you from getting the full contents into the bag. You always want to try to keep the hose and the fitment as centered as possible. Once you do have a proper fill, you'll see that the top of the bag, where the fitment is, will be parallel with the top of the container. A pillow bag, once it's filled, will look more like a dome up at the top. It kind of slopes off into the corners. It doesn't give you that flat into the corner look, which is normal for a pillow fill. Filling a pillow bag from the top using a fill bridge can be a little bit more complicated than a typical form-fit bag. Just put this 2-inch fitment up into the bridge like that. As you can see, kind of what a mess this is when you try to fill a pillow from the top. It's not a good way to go. Let's put that on. This is a 2-inch cam lock fitment. You can use stainless steel, aluminum, or PVC. This is the disadvantage of trying to fill from the top of the pillow. This water is going to go down, or fluid or liquid is going to go down. It's going to catch the corners of the bag, and it's going to be very difficult to fill this. As a matter of fact, this probably will not fill properly, and you will not get your 275 or 300 gallons in this bag. This is a lot of handling and something you typically do not want to be doing with a bag, especially while you're filling liquids, is pulling all around the corners and constantly having to tend to the bag. And also, when you fill, you can see the liquid is catching the bottom folds down here, and it's creating a lot of stress right up here around the fitment, which eventually can cause that fitment to come off of there and cause a leaker. I would say right now we're not going to get 275 or 300 gallons in this bag. We'll probably get this to maybe 200 gallons or so before there's just too much stress here. And also, the bag is just very difficult to line up in the corners when you're doing it from a top fill like this. Typically, people will fill a pillow from the bottom, flat packed, but the problem there is the leaning over and the action to try to hook up there. It can be kind of cumbersome. There's a lot of stress on this fitment right here, and I would say that at this point I would stop filling this bag. CDF manufactures 2 styles of bags, a form-fit and a pillow. A form-fit bag is typically shaped to the inside dimensions of the container, as you can see. Every bag that CDF manufactures is date coded to the minute.